So almost 1 year ago, I played a live show, and after my show, another guy approached me and he told me that he really liked my music and that he is part of a choir, and if I would be ever interested in collaborating together with a choir. And right there, I was really happy to receive this request, and we stayed in contact, and this is actually how it all started. So the song Meister Hora is about the topic of time. And Meister Hora is a very special character in a novel called Momo by Michael Ende. And Meister Hora is this guy who protects time, and he's kind of like the keeper of time. And this character, he always really inspired me. So at the very beginning of the song, you can hear this ticking clock sound, and this sound came already pretty early in the process because I knew that I wanted to make this song about time. But quite soon after that, I went over to the whole harmonic structure and the chord progressions because that was very important to me also when I was working with the choir. So honestly, I have never done this before. I've never written for a choir. And at the beginning, it was a bit overwhelming for me as well because I didn't really know where to start. And at the very beginning, I actually just started to sing into a microphone and layer my voice, so it started to sound like a choir, so I can actually hear how it would sound like. Because when I produce a song here in the studio, I can always immediately hear what I'm about to produce, right? And I don't really have this experience of writing something without hearing it. So Franziska was actually one of the biggest helps during this whole process, and without her, this would have not been possible at all. Like, first of all, she guided me in how the voices of the choir can actually sing, so what the range of the notes are. After that, she also helped me to transcribe all the MIDI information that I composed into sheet music so that the choir can actually also read it. And we also adapted some notes because I composed some things that would be technically impossible for the choir to sing because it's just too high of intervals or too fast changes, and we had to do some adaptations for that. And in the end, she also conducted the whole choir during the recording, so yeah, she was really amazing. So before the whole recording actually even started, I visited the whole choir for a rehearsal in Zurich, and there they sang along my instrumental that I already prepared, so I could already hear a bit how it will sound like. And there I also gave them a bit of feedback. They still had a lot of open questions that were not really clear, and there we could also really kind of like fine-tune the whole composition together a little bit. So finally the day came and we went into the studio with the whole choir, and it was honestly one of the most beautiful experiences that I ever had in music. Because if you have an idea in your head for a song and all of a sudden you hear 16 people singing it, it's just something very special. And I've never experienced this before, and I was just very thankful, and I feel very privileged to be in this situation. So during the recording, the biggest challenges were probably my composition, which was a little bit hard, or at least some parts were a bit hard for the singers to sing because the gaps between the notes were still pretty high. What I also found a bit challenging was the communication with the choir. Luckily, I had Franziska, so I always talked to her, and then she kind of like translated my ideas to the choir. I was always standing in the control room, and they were standing all in the recording room, so we were also separated with space, and we only communicated through headphones and microphones, so that was a bit challenging at the beginning, but luckily it all really worked out quite well. Now, before the whole recording session, Felix, who is the co-owner of the studio, and we set up all the microphones in the recording room, and Felix was a very big help during this whole process as well. He was also there on the recording day, and he really also guided me through some processes that he was just much more experienced. And luckily the studio has so many different microphones, so many great microphones, and we really set up a lot of different options in the room. So we had section mics, so for each section, like for the bass, for tenor, for alto, and for soprano, we had one microphone each. We had room microphones, we had XY microphones in the middle, ORTF microphones, Bloomline microphones, and all of them were just like of the highest quality and really high-end microphones. And yeah, that was something that was very special also, to work with all this great equipment. Now, why did we record with so many different microphones? And the reason for that is because in the mix-down process and in the production process, I was then able to select which combinations worked the best for the kind of sound color that I wanted to get. So this just made it much more flexible during the whole post-production process. Already during the recording process, it became clear that it will sound much better if I actually layer some of these recordings on top of each other, because the choir was only 16 people big, and in my head the sound was much larger than that. So we actually recorded all the takes multiple times, so I was able to layer them on top of each other to kind of create this more massive sound of it. Now, on some parts where the choir maybe fades out or fades in the arrangement, I also used some volume automations and some filtering, so maybe a high cut that cuts away some higher frequencies in certain parts, so that kind of like flows into the arrangement of the whole track. I would absolutely again work with an ensemble like that. It's been such an amazing experience, and I learned a lot during it. And yeah, I'm just very, very thankful for everyone who is involved in this whole project. So thank you so much. And if you want to listen now to the whole song, I'm actually really happy with the result. You can do that with the link in the description. So you can listen on your streaming platform of choice. Make sure to share it with a friend and subscribe to my channel. I see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.